a hot redhead has entered the studio, and we need to make note of that. She is going to be performing Helium Comedy Club Friday, Saturday, even Sunday.
Whoa.
Some of the shows are sold out. Ladies and gentlemen, from Abbott Elementary, and now It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Lisa Ann Walter is here.
I thought there was going to be something about like the trash strike. When you this just in,
Well,
get your couches off the curb.
We heard
Philly.
that you have been created as a meme representing the trash strike. Did you hear about this?
No, and I would like to see that immediately.
And so it is apparently the text is this person would be dropping off their trash at City Hall, and it's got a picture of you.
100.
Yeah.
100%. And not just the trash. Melissa would be like, spring cleaning is a thing, and I understand, and I got some stuff in the basement, and just like bodies.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're right, because
Get in the crawl space.
yeah. There was like
I think Vito's down there.
furniture, bureaus, like stuff.
That's what I saw. And they were on the news this morning
yeah.
like, hey, you guys don't come on. There's dumping laws. And people are just like, whatever.
Yeah, I love when the politicians or they're going to try to implement nuance. It's
Yeah.
not going to work.
No,
Yeah.
and then they got threatening. They were like, we're gonna put cameras up. We're like, yeah, you're gonna get right on that. we believe that. That's why I love Philly though, because they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. You got laws, but this is ridiculous.
Well,
I gotta go past trash and rats. I'm gonna put my bureau out there.
Well, you are now a beloved adopted family member of Philadelphia.
I
as you well
love
know.
that so much.
And what's really cool is like back at Helium, which is terrific, and you love the Helium experience. You love the Philly
do.
audiences.
I do.
So obviously you've been working for years, in comedy and acting and so on and so forth. What do you think? I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
What is
What do you got,
what is
Steve?
it that you love about the people here?
Listen, there are towns that are good comedy towns.
Yeah.
And I only get to do a certain number of cities when we're on hiatus. So I book it way in advance.
Right.
The first one always, since my first year here, I think it was 4 years ago, is Philly. Because they're smart, they like to have fun, but they don't mind if you get edgy. My shows here are so much different and better. Like each show is different from each other. I shot my special here last year.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, which by the way is, I don't know, maybe I'm going to make an announcement here.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait.
Drum roll.
Breaking news.
This just in. Lisa Ann Walter with the story.
You know what? It's probably illegal. No, we're doing the deal. But I'm not going to say it specifically, but it rhymes with Pulu.
What service rhymes with?
Is that different than Schmamazon?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did it here for that reason. Each show is completely different from the one before. The people here are like, even if we're engaging, which I love to engage with the audience, I love to talk to them, but they're not idiots. Like, I'll go to some cities where people are just yelling. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right. I remember my first beer. Like, they're just yelling nonsense. Philly's smart, and they're funny. So when they're, like, tossing back with me,
Right.
Every once in a while, I'm like, okay, let me do the jokes, because I don't want to have to pay you.
I think you have to be a ballsy sort of audience member, especially your persona on stage. You're larger than life. The audience loves you.
Yeah.
Why are you risking that?
Why not?
I don't care.
I like to have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you're going on stage to do stand-up, you're brave anyway.
I'm talking about
right?
the audience.
Oh,
Not
the
you.
audience?
Yeah.
Because it's Philly. Have you been here? They don't care.
I wanted to ask you quickly because the episode aired last night, the second part of the double feature of Abbott, and
The crossover?
it was wild to see the cast cursing from Abbott.
Well, I mean, Melissa curses.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me recently, like, so did you get to curse on the show because it was Always Sunny? And I'm like, Melissa curses anyway. Like, that wouldn't have been weird.
I had a feeling though because you in the first one you had a part and you had obviously in this one last night, but I think in a way Melissa is so similar to the It's Always Sunny characters.
That's why you didn't see me that much in the. You were being very political.
Yeah,
I appreciate your gentleness. I was barely in the episode. Let's be honest.
Because you're them.
If the storyline they were talking about doing a storyline originally. on the crossover,
Right.
where it had much more to do with Patty's, with the pub.
Right.
And then Melissa was going to be a big part of the story, which Quinta told me. She was like, you're a big part of the story. And then the script came out and I went, no, I'm not. I'm barely in it. But I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, when people are like, oh, was it like weird to have like those people in your universe? And I said, what's weird is Melissa being in the universe of Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
Like her people are those Gavones.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like those are her people.
Yeah.
Like she thinks they're lowlifes, but really she would hang out with them.
Well, I love in the first episode.
Like she'd throw down at an Eagles game.
Yeah, in the Abbott Elementary, in the first episode, you say, yeah, that's the biggest dive in town, you know, and so you have that, but you want the contrast of seeing characters who don't normally encounter people as sociopathic,
Right.
In
Yeah,
that.
Melissa is just sociopathic enough for them to be besties.
Hey, I have a question about the
yeah,
episode.
jump in, Preston.
When it's all together, when it's all done like that, do you have to wait until it airs on TV to see it? Okay, so you don't get an advanced screening of it. Okay.
No, absolutely not. And which is one of the reasons why I love watching Abbott. I should I love watching my show. But forget me. The cast that I work with is the most incredibly talented ensemble cast on television, I think.
Yeah.
You can like the bear if you want, whatever. I like to laugh. Oh shoot, I shouldn't have said that
No,
out loud.
we've talked about how the
This
bear.
just in.
Yeah, the bear is
It's a drama.
It's a drama.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a half-hour drama,
Yeah.
and it's a really good show.
Yeah.
And there were some funny pieces to it.
Yeah.
But I think my people are insane, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know what Chris Perfetti, what weird physical thing he's doing behind me in the teacher's lounge, and then I see it on TV and I crack up because I didn't see it when we were shooting it. And sometimes you don't know which take they're going to use because our stuff is different. Like every time we see it and we do it in the scene, it'll be slightly different, or I'll try something that they'll wind up keeping in, and I don't know it until I watch it.
You get your free line a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not
Listen,
a lot.
I get it because listen, we don't make sitcoms here, but we do have to
You
do
kinda do.
but we do videos for clients and stuff like that.
Right.
And Preston and I, we just shot a video, and it's the same thing. Like we know what we gave our director and editor,
Right.
I can't wait to see what he did with it. That's
Right.
kind of how I feel about
Right.
it. It's
Now,
like
and when you guys do a spot, do you riff?
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's the most fun, right?
Yeah.
no doubt.
I mean,
That was one of the things about Sunny that was fun for me because I love to riff. We don't do it a lot on Abbott except the end of the scene when we're getting ready to go out and the cameras are, we're rolling 3 cameras at the same time. So we'll always start throwing lines in or somebody will do something different. Chris Perfetti will run into a wall. You don't know what's going to happen. So we're trying stuff kind of at the end, but when Sunny was there, they ad-lib.
Yeah.
They do a lot of...
the majority. So when you're
and so I got to do it back. 'Cause I'm like, well, they're doing it.
cool.
That's interesting. I saw, I can't remember who the interview was, but they were talking about a sitcom and how the ad-libbing would happen when in rehearsal and at the table reads, but when it came to actually shooting, they didn't do a lot of it, and the reason was because of where the camera was positioned and where the boom mics were, that if there was going to be an ad-lib, that the audio might not get picked up or the camera might not be positioned properly, so they learned not to do a ton of ad-libbing. For you guys, there's a little more leeway in being able to do that?
Yeah, because the cameras move all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 3, so the guy who
It's not the
designed-
traditional 3-camera shot.
Right, the guy who did The Office, Randall Einhorn, who's one of our EPs, he designed the shooting style on The Office, and then they
Faux
got
documentary.
Yeah, faux doc, because he came from action shooting world,
Right.
like doing sports. So then he came onto our show, and it was the first time that 3 cameras are going at once. So their job is to keep another camera out of the shot. But which I actually think would be okay because it's supposed to be a documentary.
It does. In
Right.
fact, it's funny because a lot of people forget that Modern Family started again as a faux documentary thing,
Yes.
and then
They kinda-
let go of it.
Yeah.
Your show in particular, and Quinta's been very candid about what an inspiration The Office was,
Yes.
and all that. But Abbott does stuff with as much that isn't written, the pauses, the looks.
Yeah.
Like to a new art form. And
Yeah.
all you guys, so when you're doing something like that in the moment, I could see where I hope they got that because there'd be no way to know until the final product.
And this is what you guys got to know for people that are not actors and don't want to be it and don't care. You just want to see your jokes on TV and laugh, right? When you're working a sitcom style where it's my side and then your side, they shoot what they call coverage.
Right.
Like they're going to put the camera on me and now they're going to shoot Preston talking to me.
Right.
And I have to try to match what I did the last time. Look, there are shows where people don't even show up for their side.
Yep.
They're like, they just phoning it in. Like you're doing that. You're acting your ass off.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm over here like, let me see who's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like there are people that really aren't in it. I assure you that every single second that any of us are on set, we are in that scene 100%. And it's fun for an actor because you're reacting. If they're doing their stuff differently, I'm going to give you a different reaction. And I might look to camera then. And then our director sees that I'm looking at camera and what I'm doing. And then he's like, get that. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we're 100% on all the time, living in that scene.
Is that not the biggest? So people have talked about like doing movies with Tom Cruise. You were in War of the Worlds.
I was with Tom Cruise.
Right. And so.
I was.
Right. Yes, you were. I know.
Hang on one second. What part? Because I actually love that movie.
So I don't know what your question's going to be,
Okay, go
but
ahead.
do you want to ask it first? Because I got a little story.
Go ahead, please. I want to hear a Tom Cruise story.
So I auditioned for War of the Worlds before they even had a script. I went in, I had just done the movie Shall We Dance? Going back. Shall We Dance with Richard Gere and J-Lo. Why am I name dropping? And then Steven Spielberg said to me, I dropped another name. So anyway, as an actress. So I just done that, and they wanted me to gain weight for the role in Shall We Dance because it was based on a Japanese movie where the woman was nasty, so of course she was fat. Very misogynist. But anyway, I'm trying to gain weight, but I'm dancing 10 hours a day with Tucci and Richard Gere. So it was very hard. So I just got muscular.
Yeah.
And then they dyed my hair this white blonde. And when it ended, all my hair fell out except for like a little puffball, cotton ball of hair. Because turns out getting your hair dyed porn blonde in Canada, not a good idea. Don't go to Winnipeg for your hair job, Lisa.
Yeah.
So I come home. Turns out my husband's cheating on me. This is way more information than you need, but it's really good radio.
I love the context.
So I come home. My husband's cheating on me with lots of different women. The neighbors are all telling me I'm depressed, fat, and bald. All right, listen. So I start dancing 3 times a week. I don't really eat very much because I'm depressed. I dance 3 times a week. I get ripped. Now I still have this porn blonde hair because I keep getting jobs with it.
Yeah.
Drill Bit Taylor, I got the porn blonde hair.
Yeah.
War of the Worlds, I go in for an audition. Now I'm ripped, waist-length porn blonde hair. And Spielberg likes this for a Jersey bartender. And he's like, we don't have a script, just say something. So I get up there and I'm like jiggling my arm, non-existent arm fat, like I really got to work out, like when I'm pulling the beer.
Right.
And I guess he likes it, so I get cast in a Spielberg movie. I go to set, they don't have a script, they have a script then, but they're like, Spielberg goes, I want you to improv and do all the stuff that you did in this other movie, or in the audition. And I went, I must have looked like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry, we wrote it all down. I'm going to give it to you at lunch. You do it this afternoon. But what was wild is I started to dye my hair back, and he goes, no. We wanted that hair. We wanted the horrible porn blonde hair. So I'm porn blonde, skinny.
Right.
I wore thong underwear. I'll never forget this. I picked these out of my drawer. I was like, I don't have much to do, but I'm going to make an impact.
Right.
And they want me to lean over the cooler to get a beer out for Tom Cruise, who it turns out at the end of this scene, he's late getting his kids. Remember when he comes down the road at the beginning, racing in that muscle car he had?
Yeah.
It's because we were boning. In the original thing, I wore these thong underwear with rhinestones on the strip that goes over your hip.
Right.
So when I bent over, you saw all rhinestones like coming out the crack of my butt.
Wow.
And listen, I was very specific in my choices.
Yes.
So Tom decides he's going to make it really sexy. So he starts like kissing my arm and kissing my neck and everything. And I'm like, this guy's good. Wow. He's a really good actor.
This guy's good.
Let's work this out in the trailer. He's very hot. In War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise, very hot.
Very much so.
And you're single now.
Right.
Yeah.
I was single. So single. And so I remember that I did not have a name. But as an actor, you have to be really smart.
Yeah.
So they gave me a choice of necklaces to wear for this character. And one of them, because Jersey is a name necklace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Says Cheryl. I'm like, that one.
Yeah.
I put it on. The first take, he's like, so Cheryl, listen, now I have a name.
Now you got a name. Now you're in the credits as a name.
There you go.
No, I'm in the credit as bartender.
Shut up.
Now, wait a minute. Here's the best part. I got cut from that scene, got cut. And they knew it was going to get cut. I fly home from shooting that. But before I landed, there was a phone to my call to my agent, get her back with one of her kids. Because I'm talking in Video Village with Tom Cruise about my 4 kids.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Napoleon Dynamite or something. I don't remember what we were talking about. But he was like, I want her to come with one of her kids. So him and Spielberg are like, bring one of your kids and come back. And we're going to do this scene at the ferry where you're trying to get on the boat.
Right.
And I'm looking to Ray to help me with my daughter. I brought my daughter because she was turning 13 that week. So it was her birthday present. And so that scene in the bar, there where I'm sexy, I'm whoring it up with Tom Cruise. Never makes final cut, but I'm still in the. If you look that up, I'm in as bartender.
Yeah. So I did.
Should have been Cheryl.
I did look that up, but I remember the scene at the ferry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but the original question was, so for smaller.
I segued
exchanges,
so far away from the
no.
original question. I'm amazed I found the breadcrumbs back.
But he was there doing the lines.
Yeah.
Like you weren't having to act. I mean, you're having an exchange.
Let me tell you a little something about Mr. Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Don't talk about my boyfriend. There is a reason why that man is still doing action movies at 70, 75. What is he now?
I think a little younger. Yeah.
No, he's literally my age.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. And it's 2 things. One is the guy works. He was doing a movie in Pittsburgh, and my girlfriend was running craft service. She goes, he goes from doing the A camera day where they're shooting on the scenes, gets in a car, in a limo. They take him over to the B camera where he's in like a quarry up to his knees in mud and doing the action stuff for another 12 hours with like an hour in between. Like it's insane.
Well,
made me want to be a Scientologist. And he looks people in the eye.
Yeah.
And he never, like, it was freezing. We were shooting those scenes at the ferry up in Hudson on Croton or something like that, like right on the river, dead of winter, sleeting. It was awful. The guy never put the big warmy coat and huddled under a lamp anywhere. He had on his wardrobe out there talking to the background people.
Wow. That's great.
The whole time.
Love to hear that.
Everybody loves him, and that's why he keeps working.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and the guy, I remember the classic recently, Spielberg, and they had a bit of a falling out.
Oh,
a little
did
bit,
they?
A little
I
bit.
didn't know.
And then Spielberg
Nobody told me.
Came over, and he's your boyfriend.
Yeah.
He came over and said, "You saved Hollywood." Yeah.
With like Maverick?
Maverick. Yeah. So it's
maybe
cool.
he did.
Yeah.
I don't know. During the strike, he came on with the negotiating committee, which I'm on, because, I'm a union girl. And he came in like, hey, let's make a deal. And I was like, hi, Tom, remember me? Took a video of me and my daughter for her bat mitzvah. He did. He pulled the camera out of my purse and was like, I didn't do her happy birthday song good enough. Let me do it again.
Wow.
It was a mensch. He's a good guy.
Wow.
Very cool. So of the guys you've ended up kissing throughout your
Career.
life, would Cruise be in the number 1 position, or is just someone exceed
He's
him?
top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Can you
he's
reel
top
off
5.
the top 5?
Why you want me to dish the dirt? First thing, I tell you what, come to my comedy show at Helium.
All right.
I don't know. I can't think of famous people.
Yeah. Who is
You know who's a really good kisser?
Who?
Okay, so you watch Abbott Elementary, right?
Yes, yeah.
Remember Gary, the vending machine guy?
Yeah.
That was good.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at
Guy laid it down.
So
Because
you
we had to
guys
have a Valentine's Day thing where, I think he's forgotten about it, and then I show up in the cafeteria, and he's got, or the teacher's lounge, and he's got "I love you" spelled out in vending machine.
Yeah.
And then I'm supposed to lay one on him.
Who's that actor?
Bruno Amato.
It's Bruno Amato.
Yeah, that's
Bruno.
funny.
Yeah.
So
my paisan.
so you as an actor,
He used to be a stevedore.
when they're doing intimate scenes and so on like that you do, there's even though you're acting, you're working, you're playing a part, you're still a human being, and if somebody's got good technique or not, or
You
if it
sure
makes
do.
you feel a tingly
And if you
way.
know, and if you're doing it with a guy, you know immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the old thing. If I get aroused, I'm sorry, and if I don't get aroused, I'm sorry.
I was in a party, what they call upfronts, where they announce all the shows for so I can't remember who it was for, but it was a million years ago, and we were at an after party, and the Scrubs guy was there, and Eric
Zach Braff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Donald Faison.
Yeah.
And Sarah Chalk and Eric McCormick was there from Will and Grace.
Yeah.
Right. So we were talking about kissing on camera. And he was like, no, there's a technique. You can't actually enjoy it. You can't use tongue because it looks gross.
Yeah.
You have to do it whatever. this way. And I was like, you can't use tongue? What? Have I been doing it wrong? And so we started doing demonstrations at this party.
Wow.
And I remember I can't say who it is, but the former president of ABC said, I will give you $100 to demonstrate this with Sarah Chalk. And I said, $100? And he goes, yeah. And I went, okay, each. Pony up right now.
Oh, nice.
And did you get
Sarah
it?
Chalk's a good kisser.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's wild. So go ahead, Preston.
You had mentioned earlier that you had porn blonde hair. And just real quick, I did a search, Lisa Ann Walter blonde.
Oh, boy.
And not surprisingly, like 70% of those that came up are Lisa Ann, the porn star.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, one time I was online. Those of you out there, kids in Radio Land who don't know this, there is a very famous porn lady named Lisa Ann, who, by the way, is from Pennsylvania, was born in Pennsylvania,
She's
like
sat in
me.
the same chair as you right now.
We've had her on the
a
show.
bunch of times.
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Should I be Lysol? No, she's actually. I love her.
She's cool.
Really nice.
We've not met, but we were sort of social media pals because people kept linking me to her stuff. So I would get porn stuff pop up on my,
It's
you know,
funny.
the Parent Trap fans are like, whoa. Some guy goes, I know you've got 4 kids. Are they okay with what you do for a living? And I'm like, wrong Lisa Ann.
Yeah.
But we started talking because she was for a minute part of a stand-up show, like a tour, but she doesn't use her last name.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you mind putting your last name on this? Because people, I have a book that just came out. She's really cool because people
did
you
she?
should sue her. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, I take it up the butt in this business, but not to the degree that she does.
no,
literally.
I'm not going to try. I'm not going to give
There's
her any
walking
hardship.
the walk. Yeah.
She's got enough going on. What? I'm sorry.
I love you. Lisa,
Guys, come down to Helium where I can say the real words.
Let me hit that. Friday and Saturday, there are shows at 9:30. The early shows are sold out. And then Sunday, there's a show at 3 p.m.
And that one's almost sold out, too. That's cracked me up. I'm like, who knew people wanted to
3
see
p.m.?
comedy? I think.
Yeah,
You know what?
that's
People
great.
want to go the hell home.
Yeah.
The last time we saw you in person was a soaking wet Thanksgiving Day.
That's right.
At the, because we were in the parade
I
as
know
well.
you were. You had the big float behind me. You were much fancier.
And we had
than me.
nobody else on it because the group Chic was supposed to be on there. And the lady showed up and they're like, we're not doing it. Not in this rain. So we got the whole float.
I
It was me and
remember.
Steve and Marissa.
It was
and that
just
was
the 3 of us on
You know
this
what?
huge thing.
Yeah.
You know what? She was that poor lady, because she was not young.
No.
That poor lady.
No.
And then they couldn't find a place for her to go to the bathroom. I know the
Yes.
whole behind the scenes story.
Yeah.
She was not. She passed recently too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, that's
but,
terrible.
But it was what I loved about. Way to bring the show down.
Yeah.
What I loved about that day was this is my first time riding in a Thanksgiving Day. Anywhere, but certainly in Philly.
Likewise, yeah.
I had done the Italian Heritage Day Parade I was Grand Marshal of earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather. And we were singing Funiculi, Funicula all day. I had the best cannoli of my life, including Sicily. But this parade was fantastic because of the people that lined those streets.
Yep.
They pregame from 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And there's this one woman that ran out to talk to me. She grabbed my hand as the float was going by. She was in cutoff shorts, a tank top. Oh, no. Do you guys remember what last Thanksgiving was like?
Yeah.
It was terrible.
She was no hat, nothing, just running out, drunk, wasted. Wasted. And she was just like, let me tell you something, all right? You are so blanking good. We blanking love you so much. I'm like, wait. Hang on, ma'am. Let me get my phone. I pull my phone out. I start taping her. And I'm like, please just say exactly what you just said. I mean, F-bomb after F-bomb, soaking wet in shorts and a tank top. And I sent it to Quinta immediately.
Oh, for reference. By the way, and if you remember, we were leading up to it, and we were honored to be asked to be a part of it. And the forecasters a couple days saying, by the way, it's going to be the worst weather for a Thanksgiving parade in 20 years. And even though it was horrible, it was fantastic.
So
Because
great.
Exactly for the reason you said.
So great.
We're on the float going through the canyons of the city.
Yeah.
And everyone has tents out and crock pots. And
They had a whole kitchen, one of these people. like a 3-tent setup.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It was amazing, and it's just so wonderful. And the police and
The
everybody.
spirit.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's why That's why we love the city.
I think that's and answers your first question.
Yeah.
If we end the segment right now, it would be so good. But your first question is what makes this town special?
Yeah.
That spirit of this city is like undauntable, undaunting, dauntless.
We'll take them.
That's the word. All of it.
Dauntless is better.
I won Celebrity Jeopardy. But like the people just won't. You can't keep them down. I mean, maybe the city gets mad at them sometimes, like when you grease the poles or whatever they do, trying to keep them off the when they're you win a Super Bowl or whatnot. But I mean, it was just amazing to watch. I had a blast. I was on the pirate float. And we just all day long were just, somebody gave me a hat.
Yeah.
And it kept the rain off my face. I had a blast.
It's just great. I mean, the memory is great. I have to because a number of people in my life are huge Parent Trap fans. And I was on the other day and I was watching it. And I did not realize that you are besties with Elaine Hendricks, who plays the evil.
Yeah, the evil stepmom person, the girlfriend. Yeah, Meredith.
Did you guys hit it off on the set?
Immediately. Day one.
Wow.
I got there. We started talking. Hey, do you want to go get dinner? We went to Marie Callender, and she's skinny, so she had a salad, and I needed to be in big fat clothes, which was great because I just quit drinking. So I was like, turns out I'm a sugar addict. That's my first addiction is to sugar. So I ate a pie. And she had Casey almost spit his drink out. It was Marie Callender's, a good pie.
I got you.
So
what kind of pie? Do you remember?
Lemon meringue.
Okay.
And we just started talking, and we didn't stop, and it hasn't stopped. Even she's in New York right now doing. I think she's producing a Parent Trap like parody play called Ginger Twinsies.
Oh wow!
And she wanted me to go, and I'm like, no, I'm doing stand up. I can't meet you. But she lives in Atlanta, and I just played Atlanta, and she came to and did the shows with me.
Oh,
she was like
cool.
a surprise guest, so I said you should come and be a surprise guest at Helium.
Don't you have?
I don't know if she's going to make.
You have mirrored twins, don't you?
I do. I have identical boy twins.
One's left-handed, one's right-handed. The whole thing.
I love that. My son played with twins. They were mirror twins on soccer, and he had one on the right side of the field, one on the left side of the field.
You know what my dream was, and people don't know that this is a thing. So like when it's identical twins, it starts out as one egg, one what are they fertilized egg, right? So then about 6 weeks in, it splits. But it splits like in opposite, it like twists or something. And my dream when they were in high school was that they would be on the fencing team. This is my shut up, it's my dream.
Like the movie.
Like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Like, remember those sports movies that were just wackadoodle?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so they're gonna be on a fencing team. On the back it just says Hopkins. That's the second husband, the cheater. That's his last name. And then they look their exact same build, exact same face.
Yeah.
Nobody could tell you got that beekeeper hat on.
Yeah.
And then they go out there, and it's the big final match. The like doing the crane. Sweep the leg, whatever the thing is. And they go out there, and all of a sudden at the last minute, boom, switch hands. You win.
Yeah.
You get the point. And then they win the big fencing because that's a big sport.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fencing's huge.
But listen to this came up recently, and they're like, "That was your big dream? Was we would be cheaters?" And I was like, "Yeah."
But
do you get a scholarship to college?
Well, listen,
yes.
But they take their beekeeper things off, and they realize that they're
different.
just like,
and they're both dating the same girl. I don't know what happens. I'm just saying. And wait, here's the button on that.
Yeah.
I just did an interview where the U.S. Olympic fencing team heard me tell this story. And they were like, you want to come and do classes? You and your boys can come do classes with the Olympic fencing team.
Wow.
I said, yes, I do.
Wow.
Yes.
the realization of a dream.
Yeah, well, I have to sell it to them first. I told one, and they were like, "That was dumb."
There's a
It's like, you're no fun.
This is totally randomly sent, but there's an article about fencing in today's Inquirer, which also has an article about Abbott Elementary and the cursing on last night's episode of It's Always Sunny. There's a dude who is a world-class Pan American gold medal winner in fencing, and he grew up a Star Wars fan. He's from Philly, and his name is Tristan
Yes, of course.
Sapari. So you're not alone in your dreams. And I just wanted to.
You know that's where it started.
Yeah.
He was wielding that lightsaber
That's it, yeah.
that he got at Disney World
That's
and
right.
was like, I'm going to do this for a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
God bless. Go Tristan.
How old are those?
USA.
How old are the twins now?
24.
24
Okay.
years
Yeah.
old. Okay.
Did they have a twin language?
No.
I was
That's young. That's
Well, I mean,
when they're
they
babies.
did, but they were like they call each other brother because we call them brother because you couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
literally, you couldn't. So we was like, don't do that to brother. And then they started calling each other brother. They would have weird names for stuff. Like, he called me Bonky Sauce. Like, real mad. And I'm like, that was Bonky Sauce. Turns out it was from SpongeBob SquarePants when they call them, when it's not applesauce. What did they say?
Tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce.
Yeah.
Tartar sauce. And then they got Bonky Sauce from that. And then they would call each other Bonky Sauce as the worst cut down ever. And yeah.
To them, it was like the C word. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the best.
That's right.
Wow.
You're Bonky Sauce. I'm not Bonky Sauce. And then one of them when he was born had a big mole on his leg that was really hairy, which we think was the consumed triplet.
The triplet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like that was
did
his
you-
head.
That's a hell of a story.
Did you give the mole a name?
No, we should though. So,
Oh my God.
so we would try. We didn't want the kid to feel bad, so we were like, "Geez, when he gets older, do we have to shave it? Like, what happens?" And then he also was born with his feet turned in.
Oh, man.
He's not listening. He's gaming and sleeping till 2 p.m.
Andy Garcia had a twin that didn't form in his back that they
That's fantastic. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, so the one with the hairy mole also had his feet turned in because his brother squished him. So he had to be in progressive casts.
Wow.
That we got made in plastic with Spider-Man on them, and we called them his cool shoes. Because when you have to strap a kid into something and they're like 12, 13 months old, you have to call them cool shoes so that they're into it, I guess. And then his brother would cry, and when we would ask him what he wanted for his birthday, he'd say, "I want a hairy mole." He wants a hairy mole and cool shoes.
A hairy mole and cool shoes. That sounds like
the made up story about the unformed twin. Did you tell him that? Like,
No,
that
we
you're-
legitimately thought that's what it's being.
Really?
Let me tell you something, Preston. This is
God.
a big hunk of hair. on his leg.
you would have thought the
If we were
same.
going to name it, we would call it Sasquatch.
Oh, I love that. I love
Too
that
funny.
story. All right. Well, unfortunately we got to wrap it up. But listen,
I'm having fun.
These shows are selling out fast. Do not miss your chance to see Lee Sam Walter at Helium Comedy Club. There's only the late shows on Friday and Saturday, 9:30 p.m. And then there's a Sunday show, like you said, is selling out very quickly. It's a 3
That's almost sold out. So
3 p.m.
if
show.
you want to be in bed like I do by 8:30,
Helium,
you never know. You might see Sasquatch.
heliumcomedy.com.
The triplet showed up.
We love you so much. It is
I
wonderful
love
to
you
see
guys.
you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having
Lisa
me.
and Walter. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.